Hello, hello. So I had severe eczema, like 5 or 6 years ago. I dealt with eczema basically my entire life, and I have been working as an eczema coach, certified health coach, but I help people specifically heal eczema naturally for the last 5 years since I healed that severe flare. But I had eczema my whole life, and it wasn't until I became a coach that I then realized why I even had eczema in the first place, what my root causes were, what they could be, and this is what I work with my clients on every time I talk to them. Is the very first step is figure out your root cause. So I'm going to talk to you about my personal root causes so that it may inform you and give you a little bit more information about eczema and how you can then figure out your root causes going forward. So diving straight into it, if I look back on my flare in 2017, I had just graduated from college. I moved to a new city to attend grad school. I was in a new city. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was exercising. I ate generally healthy. I was going to school at night, and I had this weird day job that I wasn't very happy about. So during that time, I started drinking coffee. I started eating bagels and cream cheese, and I was binge eating. I was very stressed on a emotional perspective at this time. I could front like everything was fine, and I was there in this city doing my thing, going to school. But on the inside of my body, I was very emotionally distressed. There was a lot going on, especially in the relationship place of my life. And I binge ate. And maybe not in the super severe sense of binge eating, but I used food as comfort. And one of the major things I did was I would eat a Ben & Jerry's ice cream very frequently. I loved the Tonight dough, and I would eat the entire pint. Then I would eat oatmeal, then I would eat chocolates. I just couldn't get myself to stop. And interestingly enough, maybe a year before this, it was either a year or it was 6 months, I had to take antibiotics. I had to take a couple rounds of antibiotics. And now that I have all the knowledge that I have now, that flare was caused by antibiotics, changing my gut microbiome. I think I also had to deal with a private region yeast infection during that time as well. So I probably used Monistat for that. So there was a lot going on with my microbiome at this time, right? Then I get very stressed out emotionally. Then I'm eating very poorly. So with all of this combined, my liver and my gut was just destroyed. I had candida overgrowth. It made me so addicted to sugar, it was pathetic. Something very interesting is when candida, which is a yeast in your gut, overgrows, it actually sends signals up your vagus nerve to your brain and causes those sugar cravings. So some of my symptoms were brain fog, fatigue. I highly addicted to sugar. I wanted to eat after I just ate, whereas that's kind of where that binge eating came from. It was I would eat and then I would need more and more and more and more. And then obviously absolutely after every single meal, I would want to then eat something sweet. So that's kind of what I was dealing with at the time. Another symptom being I had eczema in my skin folds. And within a month's time, it went from mild in the inside of my elbow to spreading up and down my arms, and it was very scary and it was very painful, and I was in a really rough place. I wasn't sleeping. The itch was driving me out of my mind. And what I ended up doing is I researched the gut, I researched the liver, and I started creating my own diet to heal. So there was light at the end of the tunnel, and that severe eczema healed within 3 months. It came back and went away and came back and went away a couple of times because a similar pattern would come up for me where emotional distress, eating sugary things, feeding the candida, and just really not understanding candida fully. There's a whole regimen to successfully healing from candida. So if you're kind of experiencing those same symptoms, I have an Instagram account called Empowered Candida, and I've been very concentrated on just speaking about candida overgrowth in the gut. So if you need that education, that exists. So my liver played a huge part in it. I was completely salicylate intolerant. And if a food even had this much salicylates in it, my body freaked out, meaning severe itching. I felt awful. I remember eating baby carrots, and within 20 minutes, I couldn't sleep. I ate it before bed because I was like basically eating nothing at that time. And I just remember my flares feeling really, really bad and all of that. So when we break down the root causes of eczema, I actually have a root cause workshop. I'll link that in the description. And it's just like a little workshop for an hour where I go over how everything umbrellas out. So where inflammation, basically the root cause of eczema is inflammation. Inflammation then causes different body system issues. However, I will say that non-alcoholic fatty liver plays a huge role in your inability to process things like salicylates and histamines. So this is a very holistic process. But in knowing my story that I was able to heal very quickly by figuring out my root causes, you can too. The process of that looks like keeping an eczema tracker. I have a free eczema tracker for you. I'll put that in the description down below as well. And this tracker allows you to fill out, okay, this is how I slept. That's very important. If you flare in the morning, that's actually a sign that you have a histamine intolerance. So, okay, I flared in the morning. I ate this for breakfast. I flared after. I ate this for lunch. I didn't flare. And you start to create patterns. And when you have those patterns, oh my God, every time I eat tomatoes, I flare. What's up with that? Google. Itchy after tomatoes. Oh, it's a histamine intolerance. Oh, well, how do I heal a histamine intolerance? And so now you're piecing together the whole loop of how to heal your eczema naturally. So your very first step is going to be keep an eczema tracker for about 2 weeks. Then it would actually be very helpful if while you're using the eczema tracker, if you didn't eat any processed foods. There's just too many ingredients in those that you can't really tell what you're reacting to. So I always recommend non-processed foods where it's literally just a tomato, some rice, a banana. That's it. Then you're like, oh, I start to see my patterns. Then you figure out what your root cause is. If it's every time I eat rice, I flare, that's candida. Every time I eat oats or sugar, I flare. That's candida. So from there, you can then heal. So hopefully this video is helpful in your beginning stages of healing, and I will see you guys in my next video. Follow me on Instagram. I have so much information about eczema. It's ridiculous. I'm very, very active over there, and you can just binge my content. Just scroll and scroll and scroll. I have like 5 years of content over on Instagram. So, all right guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.